Good evening. It is time for today's Tax Talk. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. It is Monday, June 20th, the year of our Lord 2022. And the IRS has made some changes. Something that they were putting off until they were trying to put it off until 2024, but they're doing it now, and that's putting robots in to answer your telephone calls. That's what we're going to talk about today. Won't you join us? It is today's Tax Talk, and the IRS is talking about the robots on the phone. We're going to talk a little bit about that. These, I want to tell you, I updated my operating system by accident. Did not want to do that right before I went on, and all my sound went off. And then you wonder, how did that happen? How can I fix it? But nobody wants to tell you. It's hidden, and so that's what happened. So I kind of went on for a second here, and then came off. And now I need to open up my stories. Again, the IRS has been talking about these automated phone calls. Makes sense. Remember now, the IRS only answered 1 in 9 phone calls last year. So and they had a record number of phone calls, and the IRS is not answering them. And so then the problem arises. Well, what am I going to do if you're a taxpayer? You can't get them on the phone. You also can't go down to the IRS because many of the IRS employees are still working out of their homes. And so what is a taxpayer to do? So let's read this story. I hope I can read this story. I'm having another little problems today. Why is that? I don't know. Why are they giving me trouble? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so here's the story. The IRS expands AI-powered bots to set up payment plans with taxpayers over the phone. So, let's just read the story. The Internal Revenue Service is handling more of its call volume through automation, which gives it a call center employees more time to address more complex requests from taxpayers. The IRS announced last Friday, that individuals delinquent on their taxes who receive a mailed notice from the agency can call an artificial intelligence-powered bot and set up a payment without having to wait on the phone to speak with an IRS employee. Now, you can also do this online. They did this some time ago. It's still very hard, I think, to get your account up and running. They say it's very easy, but very difficult for many people to jump through the hoops to get your online account. And then you're kind of trapped. Taxpayers are eligible to set up. Okay. Read more. Taxpayers are eligible to set up a payment plan through the voice bot if they owe the IRS less than $25,000, which the IRS officials said covers the vast majority of taxpayers with balances owed. Again, right, this is what they call the streamline. And the streamline is, hey, you're going to pay everything you can, everything you owe, and you're just going to try to pay it off over a period of time. And they really, with this automated service, they really changed it. It used to be 60 months. They would go 60 months. And this service now they're saying they can go 72 months. So you owe $7,200. You got to pay $100 a month. Plus, throw in some interest. Let's say you're going to pay $110 a month. And that'd be enough to pay it. And you can do that automatically. Taxpayers who call the automated collection system, that's the system that you call whenever you call the IRS and somebody answers the phone, unless you have a revenue officer. And accounts management toll-free lines and want to discuss their payment plan options can verify their identities with the personal identification number on the notice they received in the mail. The IRS Deputy Commissioner of Small Business Self-Employment Collection and Operations Support told reporters Friday that the agency's expanded use of voice bots and chat bots will allow the IRS workforce to assist more taxpayers over the phone. Actually, they won't assist more taxpayers. I guess over the phone is true, but the employees won't, right? Because this is a bot. The IRS earlier this year answered about 3 out of every 10 calls from taxpayers. Again, last year was 1 in 9. If you don't have more people to answer phone calls, what are the types of taxpayer issues that go straightforward that artificial intelligence can do it for us to free up more of our human assisters to interact with taxpayers who need to talk to us about much more complex issues? IRS Commissioner said the automation initiative is part of a wider effort to improve taxpayer experience at the agency. Now, this isn't new technology. Many companies use this stuff. Why is it taking the IRS so long to implement it? I don't know. I can tell you what they're going to say. Money. They didn't have the money. But where did the money come from now? I don't know. We continue to look for ways to better assist taxpayers, and that includes helping people avoid waiting on hold or having to make a second phone call to get what they need. The IRS in December 2021 and January 2022 launched bots that could assist taxpayers with questions that don't require authentication of the taxpayer's identity or access to their private information. So just easy questions. These bots could answer basic questions like how to set up a one-time payment and answered more than 3 million calls before the end of May. But this week, and we should go look back and see how many phone calls they have. I can tell you that they get more than 3 million. But this week, the IRS expanded its capabilities and launched bots that can authenticate a taxpayer's identity and set up a payment plan for individuals. It verifies who you are. It verifies you really are who you say you are by asking for some basic information and a number that will be on the notice you received. That gives you a phone number to call and speak with the bot. Speak with the bot. He says that the taxpayers can name their own price for the payment plan as long as a taxpayer pays their balance within the time frame of the relevant collection statute or up to 72 months. So the IRS has what they call the CSED, Collection Statute Expiration Date, and they must collect by that date. So if they'll go 72 months is 6 years. But if your CSED, that means that's a day after which the IRS can't collect any more from you. And if you owe money after that date, it's gone. You don't owe it any longer. And so if it's 5 years, well, they're only going to give you 60 months, right? If it's 2 years, they're only going to give you 24 months. And that's just the way it works. And so the more you have. So here would be my advice to you. Whatever you owe, divide it by 72 or whatever the CSED is, and then that would be your payment. And then pay more. Always pay more if you can and get it paid off quickly because you're going to be paying interest on that money. And it compounds every day. So you're better off paying it off. But you want a lower payment so if you're having a trouble 1 month, you can make the payment even on a bad month. So that's my advice. Once a payment plan is set up, the bot will close the taxpayer's account without any further enforcement action from the IRS. Right? You want to get out of the collections. Those taxpayers didn't wait on hold for 1 second. He said the IRS is ramping up its bot capabilities incrementally to ensure that automation can handle the volume of calls it receives. The bot, he added, is currently at about 1/4 of its full capacity and will reach 100% capacity by next week. The bots are available 24/7 and communicate with taxpayers in English and Spanish. Later this year, he says the bots will be able to provide taxpayers with a transcript of their accounts that includes the balance of their accounts. He said that the IRS worked closely with the National Taxpayer Advocate, Erin Collins, on the rollout of the voice bot. She raised legitimate concerns that some taxpayers, because they can name their price, may get themselves into a payment plan that's more than they can afford. Again, if you do what I say, that's the best you're going to get. So don't promise to pay more than you're obligated to pay. And if you're getting 72 months, again, divide what you owe by 72. Add a little bit for interest, and that should be your payment. And then pay it off as quickly as you can. The IRS is working to ensure that the bots ask some additional questions to ensure taxpayers are able to afford the payment plans that they set up for themselves. He said that this week's rollout marks the first time in IRS history that the agency has been able to interact with taxpayers using AI to access their accounts and resolve certain situations without having to wait on hold. I have friends and family that have to interact with the Internal Revenue Service, and when I hear them talk about how long they've been on hold, that bugs me. It should bug all of us. I think it does bug all of us. He said the IRS also added a quick response code, QR code, to the mailed notice that went out to the taxpayers. The QR code takes taxpayers to a page on the IRS.gov showing them how to make a payment. He said the IRS originally expected to launch this capability by 2024, but was able to expedite the rollout given the perceived demand for this service. Of course there's a demand for this service. Why would you wait till 2024? Doesn't make any sense. You should have had it 4 years ago. We could have avoided a lot of this. The IRS in recent years has seen low levels of phone service that have decreased further since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. IRS is looking to further expand the range of services voice bots can provide, and in part a broader effort to improve taxpayer service. You know, I don't really like these bots, but I got to tell you, calling the IRS and then staying on hold for an hour and then losing your connection and never talking to anybody and wasting an hour on the phone, that's not good either. And so I'd much rather have a bot that's gonna be very frustrating, but at least I can make some progress rather than calling, waiting on hold, and then getting disconnected. We never lose sight of our first interaction with every single taxpayer is never enforcement. It's a last resort. Our first effort is always around the word service and trying to help customers understand the tax law and almost always work out a resolution with them meaningfully. I wish that were true. It isn't, but it is true that in the sense that when you get a lot of chances to work something out with the IRS before they start taking anything away from you. There's a whole program of notices that they must send to you before they can start taking anything away from you, and they only start taking things away from you after you don't comply. Right, and so then they start taking things away from you. And I know that oftentimes, the IRS they're pretty, they can come down pretty hard on people who ignore them, right? So you don't want to ignore the IRS. You want to try to, if you're trying to make, now, I haven't said that. You may not like the remedy that the IRS has for you, and that's probably true. But they do have a remedy, and usually the remedy is, hey, pay us everything. In this situation, you can pay us over 6 years, and we'll agree to that. And that's what they call the streamline agreement, where they will agree to it without even looking at your bank statements or your paychecks or anything like that. You can just, they won't. It's called a streamline because they don't look at any of your financials. Now, when you start saying, hey, I can't pay you everything, this is when you start having trouble, and they start reviewing all your documents and looking at your finances to see where you are. So anyway, that's where this is. I hope we can. Again, I think it's better than nothing. I think it's better than never getting through to the IRS. We'll see how the AI works for the IRS. Again, I know that I call many companies and they have these AI or some of this automated chat, the AI chat boxes, which I think sometimes are ridiculous because they don't really answer any questions. But again, rather than calling and getting nobody, at least maybe I can set up this installment agreement by myself or go online. You can go online. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us. I want to, as I do every day, I want to ask you to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We need your help to get this content out. And so help us, please. Like and subscribe. And remember, if you owe the IRS money, if you haven't filed your tax return in some time, it's the first thing you should do. Get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem, today. Go to freeirsbook.com, freeirsbook.com. Get your copy of Deal with Your IRS Problem today. We will ask for a small shipping fee. If you want a hard copy, I can provide a electronic copy if you want. You have to contact me, let me know that. But otherwise, go to freeirsbook.com, freeirsbook.com. That's freeirsbook.com. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Crypto Tuesday. A lot to talk about at crypto, as you would expect. So join us then, won't you? Until then, out.